Breaking news this morning, the United States has recorded its worst economy on record in a quarter, basically having contracted by 9.5% from April through June. The GDP also contracted 32.9%. Jesus, between April and June. 2 consecutive quarters of shrinking GDP, although it only shrunk 5% last quarter. And of course, most importantly, over 30 million people unemployed, millions about to lose their homes. And just a reminder, this is what Trump was saying just 3 weeks ago.
I'd like to just announce the spectacular news for American workers and American families and for our country as a whole. The stock market is doing extremely well, which means to me jobs. That's what it means, jobs. This is the largest monthly jobs gain in the history of our country. Today's announcement proves that our economy is roaring back. It's coming back extremely strong. We have some areas where we're putting out the flames or the fires, and that's working out well. We're working very closely with governors, and I think it's working out very well. I think you'll see that shortly.
No, the stock market does not mean jobs, and everyone knows that. The stock market has become a casino for wealthy people to make a little bit more money and to bet recklessly on whatever they want to do. Half of Americans don't have any investment in the stock market, and the 1% and the top 10% own an amazing proportion, a huge proportion of everything in the stock market. So repeating it does not make it true. And also, since over 30 million Americans are unemployed, they don't feel it. It doesn't feel true to them because the economy is terrible for them. And now it's terrible in every numerical metric except the stock market, because we basically socialize the stock market instead of doing what other countries did, where basically if you were furloughed, certain countries would pay 70-80% of your wages to make sure that people weren't starving. No, not in the United States. That's not how we behave. We pump trillions of dollars into the stock market at Steve Mnuchin's discretion, and then everyone else is left with crumbs. That's what the relief bill was. I mean, it was unconscionable. So more numbers on this. But by the way, Trump there, the economy was going to come roaring back. What happened? What happened? It hasn't. Worst numbers basically in recorded history. So the U.S. began keeping quarterly GDP records in 1947. So you can't necessarily compare to the Great Depression because we don't have numbers there. But it's equivalent 100%. And this is 4 times as bad as any quarter during the Great Recession, the crisis, in 2008. And 1.43 million people filed for state unemployment just last week. Just last week. So Trump's talk there about the economy coming roaring back, it's comical if it wasn't so terrifying. Between April and June, U.S. gross domestic product shrunk at a pace that would have wiped out roughly a third of the value of the economy if extended over 12 months, according to the Commerce Department's advanced estimate of second quarter growth. It is the largest one-quarter plunge in economic growth since the federal government began reporting quarterly GDP data. The mass layoffs and business closures derailed consumer spending, sapping a crucial source of strength for the U.S. economy that drives roughly 2/3 of annual growth. The Trump administration, Senate Republicans, and Democratic congressional leaders are struggling to strike a deal on another economic rescue package to guide the U.S. through the pandemic-driven recession. Lawmakers have already missed a window to come to an agreement before enhanced unemployment benefits effectively lapse and a federal eviction and foreclosure moratorium expired on July 25th. Economists have warned that the steep decline in fiscal support from Congress and the impact of a second wave of coronavirus infections could cause deep long-term damage to the U.S. economy that could take years to reverse. Luckily, we have a New Deal-type Democratic nominee in Joe Biden. God. Bernie Sanders would have been the perfect candidate for this moment. To change the structure of the United States economy to make it more equitable. To create social programs that would have helped people and lifted them out of this crushing poverty that people are going to be experiencing now because of Trump, because of the Republicans, and because of many corporate Democrats for years and years to come. But we just got to hold Joe Biden's feet to the fire and I guess hope for the best. Ay, ay, ay.